Hi everyone. It's a Wednesday evening and I thought I would shake things up a little bit and do a cooking video today because, as you know, I'm having renovations done in the living room at the moment and there isn't really any other content I can do right now because the house is just a mess and I don't have anywhere to even store any new things. So I haven't been able to do like a shopping haul or anything like that for a long time. But it was just a spur of the moment thing. I was just about to start dinner and I thought, you know what, I'm going to show everybody how I make my curried turkey. I nearly said turkeyed curry then. I'm going to show you how I make my curried turkey dish. I find it quite nutritious, quite easy to make. I'm not a brilliant cook or anything. So for any of you out there who sort of thinks, oh God, I want to try and eat something that's healthy and tasty, but I don't really know what to do, this is quite a good recipe. So I don't measure things out or anything. I just kind of go with the flow. So I'll just talk you through what I'm doing. As I say, this is very spur of the moment, so just bear with me. So turkey, no, I nearly said it again then. Curried, why do I keep wanting to say turkeyed curry? It's curried turkey. So I'll show you what you need. I eat quite a lot of turkey because I find it a really tasty meat and it's actually quite cheap compared to other meats, and it's quite lean, high protein meat. Diced turkey thigh, it makes an excellent casserole, really tasty meat. These are turkey steaks, so these are British turkey breast steaks, and they're from Aldi. A few quid, not particularly expensive, and you get about 3 in the pack. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be using. I normally get them out of the fridge now whilst I'm doing all the prep, because then it helps to bring the meat up to sort of a bit more of a room temperature before I start cooking. You can use whatever vegetables you want, obviously, for this, but I'm just going to show you what I use. So I've got some baby sweet corn. They are from, I think they're from Aldi as well. They might be Lidl, but both of them do these. So, and then I've got a little pepper that's seen better days and it's starting to go a little bit wrinkly and soft. So I'm going to use a red pepper and some spring onions that need eating, and some mushrooms. And then I'm also going to use some garlic, so I'll just grab that. I'm a little bit disorganised because, as I say, this was kind of spur of the moment and I haven't really planned what I'm doing. But yeah, my little garlic pot, which goes with everything. All of my pots in the kitchen are all like this. My tea, coffee and sugar canisters and my biscuit canister is all like this. I've had these for donkey's years now. Doing quite well. So I'm going to use, actually sod it, I'm going to use, there's three cloves left. And I'm just going to use all 3 of them because I love garlic, but you can adjust it to however much you want. But that uses up the last of those 3 then, because I've got a new one. A whole new bulb. So yeah, I'm going to use some garlic, some spring onion, pepper, corn, and the mushrooms. And then I serve it with rice, so I'm going to need to do that. Now I'm going to get the kettle on, and this is probably then going to be really loud. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you how much rice I use before I start boiling the kettle, otherwise you won't be able to hear me. We don't tend to use cups as measuring devices in the UK. It's more of an American thing, but I bought this set and they are in cups, but they're also in mils. But I've just worked out that for me on my own, I mean, obviously you'll have to adjust this depending on how large your household is, but I use the smallest one, which is half a cup. But I don't even fill that all the way up for me because I'm having it obviously with vegetables and turkey, so you don't want to like use too much rice. But again, this is all going to be just really however much you want to use. But I'm going to be using just under half a cup just for me, and I am a piggy. So that's what I'm using. So that's it for a minute whilst I'm just boiling this kettle. So please excuse the noise. Just going to fill this up. Now, a lot of people say that rice is hard to cook. I've never found that. Let me just grab a saucepan. I hope you can hear me over the kettle. In terms of cooking utensils, apparatus, I'm going to use 2 saucepans because you're going to need one for the rice and you're going to need one for cooking off the veg. And then the turkey will be done in a frying pan, so you'll need like 2 small-ish saucepans, depending again on how many you're cooking for, and then a frying pan to cook the turkey breast steaks. I mean, you could cut the turkey breast steaks up into strips, do it all in one pan, and then add the vegetables and do it that way, but this is how I do it. So I'm just going to put that into place. Hold on. And then my rice. My rice here. Keep it in one of these big storage containers. Keeps it nice and fresh. Okay, so I'm going to do, actually let me grab the, because I'm messy, I'm going to grab the saucepan again. I'm actually going to do this over the saucepan because I have done it before and it just went everywhere, all over the sides. So yeah, like that. Okay, I would say that it's just under, so without trying to tip it everywhere, it's about just under half a cup. So there you go, that's that in, and I can pop that back. So I'm now going to get that on the go. I use just long grain white rice. I mean, obviously you can use whatever rice you want. So I'm just going to get, actually I might use a bit more water because it's going to need about 15 minutes. I'm going to put that on for. And just bringing that up to boil. So that's that. Yeah, going back to rice, some people struggle with cooking rice. I always used to think it was this really complicated thing, and when I was younger, I wasn't really a massive rice fan. I've never hated it, but I just wasn't really someone that ate it a lot. As I've gotten older, I've really gotten into eating rice. I love it. And I just cook it with all different veg, but yeah, I don't find it particularly difficult to cook. What I do is I just, as you see, just bung it in the saucepan, add boiling water in advance. I typically boil it up in advance because it's quicker than waiting for it to boil on the gas stove, and I cook it for about 15 minutes, and that's it. And I don't even really test it, to be honest. I literally just do it 15 minutes and it's done, it's fine. One tip I can give you is, sometimes your rice can become quite starchy. What I do is when I'm pouring it, when I'm pouring the rice out, when I'm pouring the starchy water out afterwards at the end, the leftover water from your kettle. So once you've got your sieve, you've got your saucepan with all the rice and the starchy water, pour all of that out into the sieve, then get your kettle and pour the remaining hot water that you should have from earlier. So I always, when I'm boiling up water for doing rice, I always boil more than what I need in the saucepan. And then you just pour that excess hot water over the rice when it's in the sieve. And if you do it underneath the saucepan, you can then reuse that and sort of pour it over again, but it sort of just rinses out that extra starch from the rice, and then you shouldn't end up with rice that's all kind of sticky and stodgy. So that's a tip for you. But yeah, other than that, I find it quite easy, to be honest. But anyway, I'm going to chop up the veg now. So as I said, I'm doing garlic and pepper and baby corn and everything. So I'll just crack on with that now. I think you call these bell peppers in the USA. We just call them peppers. I mean, obviously we'll specify what type if it's like jalapeno peppers or something like that. But if I say pepper, like red pepper, yellow pepper, orange pepper, green pepper, people tend to know that we're talking about these. We don't really say bell pepper. I didn't even know what a bell pepper was until I first started hearing it used on social media quite a lot, and I was like, what the hell is a bell pepper? Yeah, this definitely needs eating because some of the seeds inside have actually started to go black. The outside flesh is still fine though, so I hate pepper seeds. I'm just going to get my little food caddy for the waste. My little food caddy for the waste because I have a compost bin in my garden. It's one of the things I find really annoying about my local council is they do not recycle food waste, which I think is they're missing out there. They could do that and use it for bioenergy, like a lot of other councils do, but clearly our council are a bit behind in that sort of thing for whatever reason. There's a lot of things they don't recycle in my local area, which I find a bit frustrating, particularly when I compare it to the council where I used to live. We used to be able to recycle small metal items like old saucepans, like if your saucepans or frying pans get like this, they've seen better days and you need to get rid of them, you can just bung them in with your recycling, that, you know, the bin that where you put things like glass jars, and used to be able to recycle aluminium foil, like foil trays, you know, like if like a quiche comes in a foil tray or a pie tray, used to be able to put them in. They don't recycle any of that here. They don't recycle foil trays. They don't recycle takeaway boxes. I get that they can get contaminated in like the food grease, but if it's relatively clean, I don't see why you can't put that in your cardboard waste bin. But they don't let you do that. They don't let you put metal items in. They only recycle plastic trays, but not black ones. Because you know sometimes these plastic trays that mushrooms come in are in like a black or a brown coloured plastic tray rather than clear. Don't recycle those. They only recycle plastic trays if they're clear, and glass jars and tins, you know, like tinned beans or whatever, any kind of tinned food. But yeah, and then paper and card and envelopes and stuff, cardboard. But yeah, no food waste, no small metal items, no foil, no aluminium, because again, aluminium foil. Oh God, I went to the supermarket earlier, and for the second time I've forgotten that I need cling film. Oh well, I think in the US you call cling film, is it? I think you just call it plastic wrap, or is it sarang wrap? But yeah, we just call it cling film because it clings to whatever it is you're wrapping up. But yeah, rubbish recycling here. Yeah, I got a composter for free. My composter, someone was advertising it on Marketplace locally and I went and picked it up. I'm just doing I've done the whole pepper because it needed eating and it was only a little one anyway. I'm just chopping up the corn now. I'm literally just doing slices like this. Just chopping them up into slices. I'm only going to do 2 because I've got, you know, a few other ingredients as well, so I don't want to overdo it. And then I'm going to do the spring onions now. I don't think you call these spring onions in America either, do you? But I don't know what you call these. If there are any Americans watching, you'll have to let me know what you call these. Hopefully yours look a bit healthier than this. Is it? Oh no, I don't know. I was thinking cilantro, but that's isn't cilantro coriander? I'm pretty sure you call coriander cilantro. I don't know what you call spring onions. Right, I'm just going to peel off all of these bad bits. Some people apparently only use like that part, like this little bit here up to about there, and I'm like, why? That bit is all really nutritious and perfectly fine to eat. It's a bit wasteful really if you're only going to use that tiny amount. Anyway, I was going to chop the little ends off and then peel off. I tend to always do this with spring onions, is I peel off that dry outer layer because it's sort of not a very nice texture, so I'll peel that off. Right, and then we're gonna, I'm just gonna chop things into slices, nothing fancy. I don't do fancy chopping. That's not cutting very well, so I'm gonna peel that off. These are really old. Nice day today. Hope it's nice wherever you are watching from. The weather here has just been super crazy the last couple of weeks. When I was away in Wales, it was glorious, and I got brown. And since coming back, we've had really strong winds on and off, and we've had like loads of rain. But I'm not complaining about the rain because we've had a really unusually dry spring here in Britain, and it's not good for the crops. I've even seen farmers having to resort to using those huge sprinkling systems to water the crops, because obviously this is prime time for the crops to grow, and yeah, we've just had no rain, hardly any. So I think it's now making up for it. We're probably going to be in for like a wet summer, and it's going to be really crap. But yeah, we've had a lot of rain the last week, so yeah, normally I would complain about it, but we did need it, to be fair. But it's just annoying because now that it's actually starting to warm up and it's the kind of weather you want to go out, and then it bloody decides to rain. Like really, really heavy. I'm just cutting up the garlic at the moment, guys. It's nothing interesting to see, really. But yeah, all my painting is done, by the way. I'm not going to show you what that's like at the moment because it's just, you'll see it in my next video. But the only thing that's being done now this week is on Friday. We're Wednesday today. Friday, the fireplace company are coming out to actually start on the work. So last Friday they came and did the survey. Everything went fine. And then this Friday they're actually starting the work. So they'll be smashing out all the bricks, smashing out the bottom part of the old hearth. Trick if you can't get the outer shell of garlic off. And be very careful, children, if you're watching this. Just disclaimer, this is how I do it. Please be careful if you're using a knife, okay? But what I do is with the flat of my, like the heel of my palm here, and then the flat of the blade, obviously not like this. You want the flat of the blade, and make sure the blade is facing away from you, please. Be very careful. I basically place the blade flat over the garlic like this, with the blade facing away from you. Keep your palm flat, because if you do that or that, you're going to be pushing it onto the blade. So keep your palm flat. And then I just press down, and you should hear, you shouldn't need to do it too hard, and you'll hear a little crack. And it just helps peel off like that. Oh, my rice is boiling over. Boiling over. Right. That's better. Now that I've brought it up to full boil, it can just go down to a light simmer. So that is now simmering away. So yeah, my living room, they're smashing out all the bricks, smashing out the hearth, putting a big lintel in, because at the moment I don't have a lintel big enough to support the new recess space for the stove. So new lintel is going in, and then he'll probably have to make good some of the bricks, because I expect when he does the smashing out, I'm probably going to lose some of the bricks. So he'll have to rebuild that and sort of do like repointing and stuff. And then next week, the final part will be done. Like they'll actually be fitting the hearth and the stove and everything. I'm really excited. Can't wait to see it. It's going to be such a transformation, and so much better than having that dated late 80s, early 90s electric fireplace. Weirdly, this is going to sound really weird, but I kind of miss my dated living room in a way. I mean, obviously I don't want to keep it, and once I get my living room all done, obviously that's a million miles better than having a dated one, but it's just when you've lived with it for a couple of years and it kind of feels oddly homely being dated. It kind of reminds me of like my nan's house or something. That it has, having that dated charm to it, it sort of feels a bit homely, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, obviously I want it to be nice and modern and new, so, but yeah, I kind of miss the old-fashionedness of it, I suppose. But yeah, it's exciting to see it starting to come together now, because up until this point, the work has all obviously been like deconstructing the living room, smashing everything out, ripping everything off, getting rid of everything and sort of gutting it. And it was so ugly and messy. But now is the fun part where everything is starting to be put back in again. So, yeah, it's quite exciting. So yeah, I've just got 2 of these left. I'll have to think of something else to use them for later in the week, because they really do need using up. Right, I have got my garlic. I use 3 small little cloves. And then the pepper, spring onions, baby sweet corn, and then the mushies. Do my mushrooms next. So, because these need eating as well. So yeah, that's it for this week. The decorating finished a lot quicker than I thought it would. I thought it was going to take like a minimum of 3 days, and he was done in 2, so that's really good. And then, yeah, next week it's the final fitting of the stove, plus my floor is being screeded next week, so it's all coming together. And my dad has agreed to come up and help get my furniture back in the room, because, again, being on my own, I don't have anyone to help me, because my brother lives down south, and yeah, I don't really have anyone else like that I can ask to help me. Male friends or, you know, any sort of male family members. I don't have anybody else. So my dad's coming up from Boston. That's Boston, UK, not obviously America, the original Boston. He's coming up from Boston to help my handyman. So yeah, I've contacted my handyman to ask him about coming up on a particular date, make sure he can do it, and try and work out the timings. And then my dad said he'll try and come up for whatever time he can do, and then between them they will put all the furniture back in the room for me. So hopefully that's going to be the day right after the carpet's fitted, which will be in like 2 weeks time, I think. Yeah, right, I'm going to show you what I've got so far, hopefully without tipping it everywhere. So I've got the baby corn, I've got the mushrooms, I've got the red pepper, spring onion, and some garlic. This is quite a lot just for me, but obviously it will cook down. And then I've got the rice and the turkey, but any left over I'll just have for tomorrow. You do have to be careful, obviously, when reheating rice a second time. I'm not going to tell you what to do with it because I'm not an expert, but I have reheated and eaten rice before and been perfectly fine, but just make sure you read up on it if you're going to do that. So I've decided actually I am going to cook this in the pan with the turkey just to save on washing up, to be honest. I'm not using 2 separate things. So let me just grab the frying pan. And then I'm going to take you over to the other side and carry on from over there. So hold on a sec. I'm hoping, let me see if this works. I'm hoping that I can set you up over here without you falling over. Is this going to work? There you go. If I put that on, does that help a little bit? A little bit. It's a bit darker, but never mind. Right, I've got my rice boiling here. Can't see me very well, but rice boiling in here, and then I've got butter out. I just use like a spreadable, British spreadable, buttermilk style spread, and I'm going to warm this up. Now, as I say, this is a curried turkey, so I'll just turn the gas on. You want it on quite a high heat first because you want the butter to melt. I use a lot of butter, so if you want this to be a slightly healthier dish, obviously adjust the butter to however you want, but I use quite a lot because I like that creaminess. So I'm just going to get a knife. Okay. Now I'm going to pop the butter in, so I'm putting that, roughly the same amount again. You're probably thinking, my God, Liz, this is a lot. Another amount there, and maybe like just a little bit more. I'll show you how much. Oh, hold on. Can you see how much that is? There you go. So that's quite a lot, but trust me, it's worth it because it makes the turkey so nice. But this isn't like a full butter. This is one of those butter and vegetable seed spreads. So that's that. And then I've got my veg here, but I'm just going to pop that down a sec. So I need to open my turkey breast. Now, once the butter is starting to melt, you want to turn the heat back down again. You only want it high for a bit just to melt the butter, and then you want to turn it down because you don't want to burn the turkey. By the way, I've got the rice simmering on like the lowest gas setting for me. It's like on 1, so really low. Right, this is melting nicely. So now you want to add all of your herbs and your spices and everything first to create sort of the what would you say, the coating is what you're going to be coating the turkey in. So just get my spice tray down. So I'm going in with a typical medium curry powder. I only use a little bit of this because there's other ingredients that I'm going to use as well. So a bit of curry powder, and then a bit of salt. A bit of pepper. Where's my pepper? I have to use it in this format because the pepper in my pepper mill on the table has run out, so I have to do it like this. So that's a little bit of pepper. So we've got salt, pepper, curry powder, garlic granules, dried garlic granules. I put this on everything because I love garlic. Obviously I'm using fresh garlic as well, but I like to use extra garlic granules, so that'll be enough. Now, like I said, I mean, you can really use whatever herbs you want. I'm going to add a little bit of chilli. I'm not really a spice person. I don't really like a lot of heat, but lately I've been enjoying just a little bit of chilli, just for a tiny bit of a warmth and a little bit of a kick, but if it's even coming out. Not too much for me, but just a little bit. And then I want to add coriander, or I think that's cilantro in America, coriander leaf. I like using coriander leaf as opposed to like ground coriander, because leaf is a bit more coarser texture. I would prefer to use fresh coriander, but it's not something I buy that often, because I would find that by the time I get around to actually using it in a dish, it will be gone off in the fridge. So, and then lastly, some cumin. Just going to use a bit of cumin for that earthiness. And at this stage, you should find, because you should have turned the heat down, so it'll be just bubbling a little bit, and you should find that. Can I do that to show you? No, hold on. Let me move you to show you. So, hopefully you can see that. So, there we go. Nice little mix. I'm going to grab one of my little wooden... I like to use wood when I'm cooking because it gives a better sort of flavour to the ingredients, and it's more environmentally friendly. So I'm just going to mix this into the butter. So you should now have this butter mix with all the herbs and everything. Give it a good stir around. So this is salt, pepper, coriander, cumin, bit of chili powder, and some generic medium curry powder. But like I say, you can really use however much or as little as you want. And then you need to get the turkey in. And just grab a knife to open up this packet. Now, You can put the turkey breast steaks in whole if you want, or you can cut them. I'm just going to cut them into like little strips. My chopping board isn't big enough, so I need to go and grab another one quickly. Let me just do a quick swap because I'm running out of space over here. Right. So let me just quickly chop this up. So yeah, turkey breast steaks are about that big each. Like I say, it depends on how many people you're cooking for, as to how many you want to use. I only do it rough. I don't really worry about, because it's just me, I don't worry about how evenly to chop the pieces up. Just some rough strips will do. I'm glad that this is turkey and not beef, because I really struggle cutting up red meat because it makes me queasy. Don't really like handling meat very much, to be honest, but even this makes me feel a bit bleh, but especially when I get a tough bit that doesn't want to cut and I can hear it squishing, it's making me feel a bit queasy. Right, and it's going in, so I've cut the strips up about this big, okay, and that's going in. I'm now going to turn the heat back up a little bit. Should be starting to sizzle. Cut up a little bit more because I can always use the rest tomorrow. Okay, that will do. Right, I've used one of them, so there's still like, well, about 1.5, so there's still about 1.5 in the packet left there, so that will do me for another day. And then we want to give this a stir around first before adding the vegetables in. Now you'll know when this is done because it takes roughly about 10 minutes. But you'll know when it's done because if you cut through the centre, you want to make sure that it's obviously completely white all the way through and there's no like pink bits. Same with chicken really. Should be completely white all the way through and a cooked texture. Just turning these all round, making sure they're all coated fully. Smells so nice. Check on my rice a second. I've just turned them all over so they're all now coated in all of the butter and the spices. I'm just going to check on my rice. It's fine. Because I've had the rice cooking on a low heat, it's fine. Even if it goes over 15 minutes, it's fine because it's still bubbling away on a very, very low heat. I'm just going to check it by seeing what the consistency is like. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Let me show you what this looks like. Extra little bit of turkey there. I'll show you what this looks like. There you go. All that colour and the seasoning. That's what you want. Okay. You want to make sure that you're supervising this as well. You do not want to leave this because if you've got it turned up on a high heat and you sod off somewhere, you'll come back to burnt spices and burnt turkey. I mean, obviously this dish will work with other meat as well. You can use whatever meat you want. I like using turkey because of how lean it is, high protein, really tasty, very quick. So, but I like to just turn them fairly regularly so that they don't burn. Okay, now I'm going to turn that down a bit because it's on really, really high, so I want to get it back down to the medium. Just take that off for me a sec. Right. Okay, I'm just going to wash my hands a sec, guys, because I've had raw turkey on them, so bear with me. So all my veggies are now going in. So that's the spring onion, the garlic, the baby sweet corn, the mushrooms and the red pepper. All going in. And you also want to give that a good stir as well. Get all of the butter and the herbs mixed in. As I say, usually I do cook the vegetables separately, just so it's easier to sort of keep track of the meat cooking, because I'm not very good at judging cooking times often, and I'll find that I burn the veg and then the meat isn't cooked and stuff, so that's why I like to cook the veg separately usually. But I just thought it'd be easier to do it in the one pan today, less washing up. So it's been cooking for about about 3 or 4 minutes now. 4 minutes. So I'm going to break open one of the bigger pieces of turkey and just check it. Like I say, normally I give it about 10 minutes. Yeah, I'd say it's nearly there. But yeah, I'm probably not going to do another video until Friday now, because like I say, there isn't really anything to show you except the fact that the walls have been painted. So on Friday, once the fireplace has been smashed out and the lintel has gone in and everything, I will do a quick video and I'll show you that, and then show you the colour on the walls. So just check on the rice again. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's cooked, but it's not looking too bad because I've got it on the lowest setting. In fact, I think I'm just going to turn it off completely now, and it will just stay warm in the water. Right, let me show you this. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. So that's it really. I'm just going to do it for a few extra minutes, and then, like I say, it will be a case of keep breaking over. I'm just doing it breaking over in another piece of turkey now just to see, and it's one of the thick parts, and I would say it's about 90% done already, so I'm probably going to actually give it less than 10 minutes. Let me break open another bit. So if I show you the texture, you see the texture of that. Probably not very well in this light, but it's yeah, it's not going to need much longer. So that's all there is to show you really, guys. Like I say, use whatever veg you want, but that just gives you an idea of the veg that I typically use, and then cut up the meat into strips. Cook that in quite a lot of butter with the curry spices. Do your rice on the side, and then I'll show you what I serve it in. I tend to serve it in like one of the large pasta bowls, this size. I don't like using cereal bowls because cereal bowls are quite small in diameter and they're high-sided, which means the food stays piping hot for like 10,000 years and you can't eat it. I don't want to stare at my food, I want to eat it when I'm hungry, so I use the bigger bowls because then it cools down quicker. So that's what I serve it in, and what I'll do is I'll put the rice on first and then just spoon out the turkey and the veg on top. So that's it really. So just show you quickly what it's looking like now, and then I will leave it there because the rest is just going to be me dishing up and eating. So right, let me show you that. You can see what that looks like. There you go. And that's it, guys. So I'll do you another video on Friday. Take care. I'll see you then. Bye.